support Ollie, support Luke, support WrestleTalk, or better yet, take just a moment, stop what you're doing, and bask in their glory.
The Revival have been pulled by WWE from their TV and pay-per-view. AEW Revolution had a match that had 6 stars. The
stars.
5-star breaking scale match. And also, we've got a load of Revolution buy rate info to go into and your Patreon mailbag. But hello! Welcome to the WrestleTalk podcast magazine show thing. I'm Ollie Davis, this is Luke Owen. Please have a thumbs up party, press the thumbs up. Leave a comment down below with what you think's going to happen to the Revival. Give us a subscribe and we'll open up talking about Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder.
Yeah, so when AEW launched back in January of last year, there were a few names that were instantly linked from WWE to go to AEW of
CM Punk,
obviously. Talent that were reportedly very unhappy with their position in the company, saw this sort of new promotion starting up, saw all the buzz around that and thought, I wonder if the grass really is greener on the other side. But actually, and then it turns out it's all like multicolored with all their sort of fireworks and stuff.
And yet, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson.
They were
I thought they were a lock.
I thought they were definitely going to go.
And it seems like every single one we thought were going to go just signed a 5-year, multi-year deal.
Yeah, because WWE, seeing this competition emerge, went into panic lockdown mode and started to try and get all of their talents that either had a year, 2 years, 6 months left on their contract to sign new 5-year deals. And they were big money deals, way more than they had previously because they've got all the Saudi money now, they've got all the Fox money now. So they were able to offer out these much bigger contracts. Like you said, Gallows and Anderson, they re-signed. AJ Styles, he re-signed. All these people, Mike Kanellis, re-signed.
Worked out so well for so many different people.
Absolutely, but there were some that didn't re-sign. I remember JR, there's the one that always strikes me as JR, and I'm pretty sure this is about Mike Kanellis, but JR did an interview where he said, there's a guy over in WWE that we really wanted to get hold of because he's a good utility player that we wanted to bring onto the show. And we were told, no, he's just signed a new 5-year deal for $500,000. He's not even on TV. Because that WWE didn't want anyone going across. But they did let some people go. Sean Spears left, Luke Harper's now gone. But back to the original point, one of the first names was the Revival. And they have been on and off reported, apparently they have been offered huge deals. They initially got offered that $500,000 one, they turned it down. That money went up, they turned that down. The money went up again, they turned that down. And this now appears to be the most clear message that next month the Revival are letting their contracts expire and they're going.
Yeah, so we know it was at least over $750,000 a year each, which is because one of the Fightful reports said it's beyond what Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson eventually signed for. And that was the offer about 2 months ago. Apparently they upped the money considerably since then. So, you could be looking at $1 million a guy.
Yep, they could be earning Becky Lynch money.
They could be earning the same amount of money as the top woman star and Dolph Ziggler by comparison.
Yeah.
So it looks like they are going to go because currently they have just been removed from TV completely. They're not even on TV to get buried.
Watch them be on SmackDown tonight.
Yeah, they're not even there to fall over when they come down to the ramp or have the Usos put
Uzi
hot stuff in their shower.
It's pretty clear that they probably should have been in the chamber match this coming Sunday, and it's a bit of a slap in the face that it's Lucha House Party that is in the chamber instead of them.
Is it all 3 of the Lucha House Party?
It could be.
It should be.
It really should be.
But the Revival were originally slotted and planned to be in that chamber match because WWE, despite, I think what WWE see internally is quite different to what we all see.
Yeah.
Because stuff like Matt Hardy and the Revival, we're all like, yeah, they're going to go. And Rusev, I still think, he's going to go.
I 100% think he's going.
Yeah, but WWE, keep reading these reports where they're like, no, we're pretty confident that Matt Hardy's going to re-sign. Yeah. We're pretty confident Rusev's going to re-sign.
It's that Vince McMahon investors call quote when he said, why wouldn't anyone want to sign with WWE? Why wouldn't they want to work with this company? Vince's mind is, this is the Super Bowl. Who doesn't want to be here?
So they were pulled from the chamber, and they've apparently been pulled from all TV events as well. So, they might now appear on SmackDown tonight to get buried in light of this news coming out. But, and Adam Blompier's prediction for the match that's going to get added to the chamber is Roman Reigns and Goldberg versus Baron Corbin, The Revival, Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode. Which, of course, Reigns and Goldberg will win.
Yeah, but like Roode and Ziggler are in the chamber.
Yes, but you can do double duty.
Of course you
that
can.
protects them in defeat. So the Revival are not only sort of, completely removed as a WWE presence now, but there is also this legal battle going on behind the scenes, and that is the Revival, through last year, were filing for trademarks. I believe they trademarked FTR, which is Forever the Revival.
It was originally F the Revival.
Which is because the Young Bucks and the Revival have this wonderful, long-running rivalry.
It's been really fun. It's all this social media thing because everyone was saying the Revival are the best tag team on the planet, whereas the Young Bucks were like, no, we're the best tag team on the planet. So they've just been having this very friendly rivalry over social media where the Young Bucks started the FTR movement.
This was back when the Revival were in NXT.
And they were the best tag team on the planet.
It's been a long time since, it's been a long 2 years on the main roster. But WWE have started filing for some other trademarks.
Yeah.
Like The Mechanics.
Which was their original name in NXT before they became the Revival.
Of course, they already own the Revival, WWE. They've also trademarked the term no flips, just fists.
Which is their catchphrase.
Yeah. So it seems WWE are preemptively trying to secure these catchphrases down because they know the Revival are leaving now, and they're just trying to screw with them.
And I think the Revival also got Top Guys, which is their other one. So I think that's more. I think WWE have been trying to fight them on that one. So basically, WWE are trying to trademark as much of that character intellectual property as much, so that when they go to AEW, they haven't got as much of that to use. And this is it's not uncommon for WWE. Look back in the old TNA days when they had their big, fire sale and got rid of a lot of people. They trademarked all of their names so that when they went to other companies, they couldn't use it. Hence why we got Team 3D instead of the Dudley Boys in TNA. Christian Cage instead of Christian.
Aaron Rex instead of Damien Sandow.
Yeah, so this is not this is WWE's, and it's a smart business thing. This was the Impact Matt Hardy fight that they had when Hardy first left Impact, and he wanted to take all of the broken stuff with him, but Ed Nordholm and Impact were like, well, no, it's ours. We own that because you did it on our show. It's ours now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, that's actually quite a legitimate argument.
It totally is.
But also, there were other things that complicated it there, where Matt was like, I have actually put a lot of my own personal money into this, which hasn't been factored in. Speaking of, Matt Hardy is another looming WWE to AEW presence. He hasn't... I think I jumped the gun when I was like, he's signed a contract, because all that's actually happened is Matt Hardy, at the end of his YouTube series, had the Young Bucks turn up on his driveway and he said, Bucks of Youth, I knew you'd come.
Yeah, my favourite comment of that was, this is all one big swerve and they're all going to NXT.
The long game. So yeah, I think we'll see Matt Hardy in WWE sooner rather than later. Or AEW.
Freudian slip there, Freudian blowjob.
But will he be exclusive?
Well, yeah,
Does he want to work Ring of Honor still?
Absolutely. And, I think that's what AEW is starting to let themselves be a bit more open to. They brought in Jeff Cobb. I don't know what the status is with Lance Archer. Whereas is he still doing stuff in New Japan, like Mox is, and Jericho is still doing stuff in New Japan?
I think he left New Japan late last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was at Wrestle Kingdom. I can't remember, to be honest. I might be wrong on that one. Anyway, and there's Jeff Cobb as well. Jeff Cobb is... Apparently AEW have offered him a contract, but he is still kind of playing off a lot of sides against each other to find out where his best home is. So yeah, I think I'd imagine with Matt, they would give him that sort of open contract that allows you to be a legit independent contractor where you can go and work for several other companies and not just for AEW.
Yeah, it's a great time to be a wrestling fan because there's so much product now of such a high quality overall, and it's also a great time to be a wrestler because there's a supply and demand thing here, and the talented guys with name value, they're going to get a lot more money because the companies are bidding against each other.
I'm putting my prediction chip down on the table here. We'll get the Revival debut at All Out.
All Out, you think that late?
Well, because the contract's going to expire in next month, then you've got the 90-day...
So if the
you're right.
expire,
If the contract expires,
you
they
can
could just go straight there.
anywhere.
So maybe it's double or nothing then. But I would imagine they'd save it, do some teasers for it, and then debut them at a big show.
Potentially. I don't know how it works because Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder have been injured, and there was talk of one of them having their contract extended to make up for that missed time, which is something that WWE quite cynically do to their performers.
That's why Jeff's still there.
Yeah. So I don't. Yeah, maybe one of them can appear at Double or Nothing, and then the other one appears at All Out.
Which is why I'm going for All Out, because that way everything is sorted. Both of them can be there at the same time. We'll go with All Out. Let's
get into AEW and AEW Revolution because the pay-per-view numbers are in.
Yep, successful show it was.
Very successful. You're looking at 37,000 buys on BR Live, which is sort of the American pay-per-view thing for that, which is 10% up from Full Gear. Huge numbers on Fight TV as well. But you don't know how much of that is the UK market going there because it wasn't on ITV box office.
Because ITV box office are effectively closing their doors. So it was a very, very successful, and it's actually a testament to show how good the TV has been in the lead up to Revolution. It was a really fascinating, actually, this week's Gorilla Position podcast was really interesting because, that is a WWE podcast. It's WWE endorsed, they get access to a lot of their talent. But James D'Lo was on there talking about how good the TV product has been for Dynamite and how that made him want to watch Revolution and how good Revolution made him want to watch Dynamite. And his current criticism of WWE is that he doesn't feel like the shows are leading into each other to make him want to watch the next one.
Yeah, you keep putting on good stuff. You just keep your head down, don't look at what other people are doing, and you just put out the best thing you can possibly make and listen to your audience. Then people are going to organically come onto that. And you look at these star ratings. So Meltzer's star ratings in this week's Observer, really recommend getting a subscription to the Wrestling Observer on F4W Online, not just because of the radio shows and everything you get, but the newsletters are just fantastic reading.
But Meltzer has, he does his usual pay-per-view review, he does a bit of New Japan and the coronavirus. Now I've said it now, we're going to get demonetized by YouTube. Sorry, mate. Fun fact, we actually have, we've had limited ads because we had coronavirus.
The first time we did it said limited ads, but it actually made the same amount of money.
Yeah.
Wednesday's video made about £40.
Ooh.
So we won't be putting that in the title again.
Fun, little behind the scenes there. But he's got this 10 or so paragraph thing where he posed the question to himself, was the tag team match at Revolution the greatest tag team match in North America or the greatest tag team match I've ever seen? So he goes back into his sort of archives of what's the highest rated tag matches I've ever done? And he watched them all back to back. And then goes into these in-depth detailed analysis of each of those matches and his memories of the time, what would work in today's standards, to give you what it really is the greatest tag team match of all time. And that is why you should get a Wrestling Observer newsletter subscription, because that is the amount of detail and work that Meltzer gets into it. That man probably sleeps for an hour a day, at most.
He's a hero. He really is a hero. So to reflect that, his findings were, it was the best tag match in North America he's ever seen. He gave it 6 stars.
It's a 5-star break. Granted, the 5-star thing's been broken several times over now, especially in the last couple of years. But yeah, it's the highest rating for an AEW match. It's their first 6-star match. And I think it's absolutely well-deserved.
Yeah.
In fact, really, although I am going to put Meltzer on notice here, I'm going to say don't get a subscription to the Wrestling Observer newsletter because he only gave Orange Cassidy versus Pac 3 3/4 stars.
What the hell?
What the hell, Dave? That was also a 6-star match.
It is curious to look at the ratings for the rest of the card. So we'll just do the main card. Hager Rhodes got 3 stars.
Fair.
Allen versus Sammy got 3 3/4. which is, I thought it'd be more than that.
Yep.
Nyla Rose, Statlander got 2 stars. MJF Cody, 3.5.
I think that's fair.
I think that's fair too, yeah.
Yeah.
Cassidy Pack, 3.75.
What the hell, man?
I genuinely think that should be a 4.25 at least.
Yeah.
Just the magic they captured there. Maybe gets caught into in-ring work and a certain stuff, which is his prerogative. It's his ratings subjective scale.
Yeah.
And Jericho and Moxley got 3.75 too.
And yeah, it is a subjective view. So when the people ask, like, well, why do you put so much emphasis onto this? Because, like, he's been doing this for 50 years. Like, the man has got, a fountain of knowledge when it comes to wrestling.
It's the most objective, subjective scale you can get. But that says to me that it's kind of a pretty consistent, just above average show.
Yeah.
With one incredible match, one all-time great match.
Yeah. Well, Meltzer says in his sort of like overall review is that the tag match effectively killed the rest of the card because no other match was going to follow it. And really, when you look back at it as a pay-per-view as a whole, that tag match was so incredibly good that it always was going to struggle. And funny enough, I actually talked to a friend of mine about this yesterday who doesn't watch the product week to week, but did watch Revolution. And kind of got into it because he had heard a lot of the hype about it, and he was like, so I'm going to check it out. So he watched the buy-in show, and he said the buy-in show got him so hyped for the card, he couldn't wait to watch the whole thing. And he loved the show from start to end. He actually even really enjoyed the Nyla Statlander match, despite its issues. And off the back of that, now wants to watch Dynamite week to week.
Well, it seems like that's a common trend. We're getting a lot of people at website writer Louis Danger Dangor for WrestleTalk.com. Go and check it out. It's one of the best wrestling news sites in the world. One of the biggest.
It is one of the biggest.
Third biggest now.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Well done, Andy.
Yeah, it really is. Well done, Andy. And obviously the rest of the team, but mostly Andy.
Yeah, he doesn't watch AEW. He loves NXT. That's his thing. He watched Revolution, loved it. Unfortunately, he then watched Dynamite and didn't like it. But it's that's still an interesting anecdotal bit of evidence.
And I think that then ties into this week's ratings, which sees both shows up this week. But
we need a jingle.
We're going with It's Ratings Man?
It's Ratings Man. Hallelujah, it's a Ratings Man.
So, AEW was up. Back over the 900,000 threshold this week. Certainly, that post-pay-per-view bump is a legit thing because we saw this with Full Gear last year. AEW was up to 906,000 at 0.35 in the demo. I think it was like 5th overall in the cable ratings.
Yeah, did really well.
Did really, really well. And actually tied with NXT for the over 50 rating as well.
I think it's a great number. I'm surprised it's not 50,000 more. Because in January, they were getting 950,000 first 2 weeks of the year. I don't see why, after all the great work they've done, that people are probably staying in because of...
We need to find like a new name for it. Calumpy virus. Oh no, maybe a virus is the bad bit.
Calumpy Pops.
Calumpy Pops, there you go.
Calumpy Pops.
Yeah, just so make sure if you're at home, just look out for Calumpy Pops.
Yeah. You can see it. We caught a bit early. We sprayed it to death. Calumpy Pop, no. I thought that the quality of the product AEW have been putting on recently, I thought it would have been higher. But that's still a great number. It's got to get past 1 million one of these days.
I actually thought it might do over 1 million this week.
Yeah, same here.
But especially with the Matt Hardy video that had gone up earlier, 4 hours before Dynamite went on air or whatever it was, I thought that it might go over 1 million this week.
So it'll be interesting to see when that actually happens and is more publicly announced because AEW never tweeted it. The only audience for that really are the people who are going to watch it anyway.
It's these people.
The people who watch YouTube wrestling content.
Yeah.
Matt Hardy's YouTube channel. How much you...
It was the number 2 trending video on YouTube yesterday, I believe.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, how is that equated into Matt Hardy's own ratings?
I don't really know. Stronger Than Death, Matt Hardy.
So it's had 500,000 views on YouTube.
It's about as good as an Adam Long playlist video.
It's not that good. So yeah, I don't know how much visibility it actually brought on AEW. He didn't even say AEW.
No.
If you didn't know what AEW was, you just know who Matt Hardy is, you watch that, you're not really going to understand what's happening. So maybe when AEW eventually say, here's Matt Hardy, he's debuting, That could be a $1 million+ show.
Could be. Because Matt Hardy has been a proven ratings draw, not only for WWE, like, you know, that's why they were trying to keep hold of him, because he did that segment with Randy Orton. And that was a really big, highly rated segment, because I think people are so invested in that Randy Orton Edge storyline.
Yeah.
I think that is, it was pointed out, I thought about this when I was listening to Gorilla Position. You know, and James D'Lo said, like, that is the only WrestleMania match that has an actual story going into it. Like,
It's a proper blood feud.
it's a proper blood feud. You know, Drew won the Rumble, but that is effectively, I won a match, now I get you. Like, this is an actual storyline that's got people really invested in this. So Matt was, you know, was a proven ratings draw then. He was a proven ratings draw in Impact. When he was, like, the focal point of that show, those shows were doing way better numbers than when they weren't focused on Matt. And when he left, those numbers, they did not stick around with Impact. They went off in their droves.
So NXT.
NXT did 718,000, which is up again from last week, a 0.23 in the demo. So, yeah, another good week for NXT.
Well, it's
but
up.
It's up, but bearing in
By
mind
1,000 viewers.
Yes.
It's pretty much flat.
it's flat. And having advertised 2 cage matches, which I think was probably done to counter the post-pay-per-view bump for Revolution, I also would have expected that to be better. But maybe that's just the WWE audience. Like, you know, the cage match was a proven draw for AEW when they did one. So maybe NXT thought it was, but I think WWE almost like made the cage match not feel that special anymore. Having 2 on the show maybe just killed some interest.
Yeah, yeah. But we'll get, for the sort of in case you missed it portion of the show, we'll go through them very quickly. You've got the the Wrestling Observer Awards. We'll run through those quickly. But my one is still rating specific. Did you hear this backstage stuff?
No, because so I had this here, and then because it was corrected viewership, because didn't it do like 18,000 viewers or something?
There are a lot of reports that Tuesday's episode of WWE Backstage on Fox, which has not been a success, CM Punk being on it, can just get you over 100,000 views these days. And where has he been? He's not around as much as I thought he would be. I know he was only ever meant to be occasional contributor, but it's about once a month at best. Backstage was reported to have had 18,000 viewers on the Tuesday night. And that's with Jeff Hardy announcing that he's medically cleared to return. They announced JBL for the Hall of Fame. There was some newsworthy stuff there, but it's since come out that actually that was the 2 a.m. replay viewership.
Aha, that's okay.
The actual viewership was 54,000.
Oh, well.
Which is only the second worst viewership in the show's history.
Well, you know.
Fox cannot be happy.
They must be, like, considering we've talked about this ad nauseum with the SmackDown thing, SmackDown is not pulling in the viewers that they were expecting. Like, they were expecting 3 to 4 million. They're doing the exact same numbers they were on USA, slightly higher than what they were doing on USA. It's not good. And then this show has been tanking. Yeah, I can't imagine Fox been happy because they paid a lot of money for that show.
The Wrestling Observer Newsletter 2019 Awards.
Yep.
Is next.
Quickly take us through this.
So remember,
Chris Jericho did well.
This is not Dave Meltzer's opinion.
No.
This is voted on by all the readers who want to take part of the Wrestling Observer.
And bearing in mind, in those readers are industry experts.
Yes.
And people who work within the wrestling world.
Tony Khan. I'm sure he paid a few people off.
Maybe
He's the Bloomberg of this election here. Not without quietly bowing out. So yeah, Wrestler of the Year, Chris Jericho.
I was actually quite surprised that Jericho won that. I thought it was going to be either Okada or Ospreay. Ospreay got like best overall, I think, most
outstanding wrestler.
Yeah.
But yeah, Wrestler of the Year, I think in terms of programs, promos, in-ring work,
draw.
I see it as a whole holistic category. It's got to be Jericho. Like what 2020, I mean 2019, Jericho's year, first AEW champion.
Reinvented himself again.
But Le Champion, a little bit of the bubbly, the cruise, fantastic stuff. He's also got best on interviews, so best promo guy, Chris Jericho. Most charismatic, and there was another one, box office draw.
Yeah, which, certainly makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, most outstanding wrestler went to Will Ospreay. Tag team of the year in 2019 went to the Lucha Bros.
Yeah, Meltzer kind of so as we said, this is not Meltzer's decision. This is voted for by people who read the newsletter, and he explains that the Young Bucks have had quite a long streak, but for the majority of 2019, the Young Bucks were dormant because they were doing so much backstage stuff for AEW and getting that foundation. They stopped wrestling for like 3 to 6 months, I think. Whereas the Lucha Brothers, that was the story they were telling going to All Out, were still wrestling. They were doing a lot of stuff in MLW, in Impact, in AAA. So they were doing a lot of stuff and been putting on just these incredible matches. Which is why they should have been featured more on AEW. It should have been Pentagon.
It should have been Pentagon. Thank you. I'm glad we're all agreeing with me now. Promotion of the year, New Japan. I probably after that G1,
Yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong,
you can't complain there. But this year already, if they carry this on, I think AEW's got New Japan beat.
Yeah.
Most outstanding TV show is Dynamite. A match of the year went to Will Ospreay versus Shingo Takagi.
Yeah, so
which
good.
was incredible. Takagi, sorry. Why do I always say that? Feud of the year was Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano.
That's cool, yeah. I was surprised at that one, actually. Well, as much as I loved that feud, it was a really good feud. I didn't expect it to win Feud of the Year.
Same here. Because it's got to be Rio Nyla Rose, right?
Well, of course, yeah. What else is it going to be?
Most improved, Lance Archer, which bodes well. I'm not that familiar with Lance Archer.
I'm more familiar with him as Lance Hoyt.
Technical wrestler Zack Sabre Jr., Best Brawler Ishii, Best High Flyer Will Ospreay, Most Overrated King Corbin.
That makes sense.
I feel like it's overpushed.
Well, yeah, that's what I think. That's what I think it certainly refers to, because he is good. Absolutely, King Corbin is great. But he was way over pushed beyond his means for quite a lot of 2019.
Most underrated, Shorty G.
Yeah.
Chad Gable, honestly.
Bless him.
Rookie of the Year, Jungle Boy. Best TV announcer, Kevin Kelly.
Yes, Kevin.
Best non-wrestler, Paul Heyman. Worst TV announcer. Shows how far he's fallen, and he's gotten, really quite obnoxious to listen to. Corey Graves.
Corey was up there as well in like the best announcer categories not too long ago. Yeah.
Worst match and feud of the year both went to Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Hell in a Cell encounter.
Worst major show went to Super Showdown. So I feel like now it's going to be those Saudi shows for the foreseeable rather.
Most disgusting promotional tactic. The WWE business in Saudi Arabia. Worst gimmick, Shorty G. Best gimmick, The Fiend, Bray Wyatt.
Well earned, yeah. Despite WWE's best efforts.
Best booker, Gado.
He's never going to lose that.
No, right, he's active. Promoter of the year, Tony Khan. And worst promotion of the year, WWE. People can shout at us now for our AEW bias on this accumulative.
Yep.
It's
all that bias. It's all the bias. Quickly, my story. This is actually covered in extensively in Laurie's news today, but this is one I've only just sort of really found out about as I've come in. Is this Shayna Baszler storyline? So apparently, Vince saw the Shayna match on Monday's Raw and didn't like her. He's already changed the finish of the Rumble, which she was scheduled to win, put it on Charlotte Flair instead. So that's now Shayna was supposed to win the Rumble. That's been changed. She had a match on Raw. Vince didn't like her, and I thought Shayna was a lock-in to win the Elimination Chamber this Sunday, but it could always go to someone else now. This really could actually go to someone else at this point.
I could see Asuka winning, because who else is there?
Natalya.
The Riot Squad, Natalya or Asuka. Out of those, Asuka's the most proven. She's a Royal Rumble winner.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look at it like Vince would.
Yeah, and this sucks to say, and when I say this, I do not think this, but I believe in Vince's mind, it's because of how she looks. It's because she is not your typical good-looking WWE women's wrestler from that sort of Divas area onwards. She doesn't look like that. And I think it is what everyone has always said about Shayna Baszler, and the worry about her going up to the main roster is she does not look like Vince's usual type. And that is going to backfire on her. And I do genuinely believe that is why she's not going to get a push. Or, we'll see come Sunday, but it's a worrying sign. Should we go on to brighter things? Should we do mailbag?
Let's do the mailbag.
Right, well, let's kick off. We've got a bit of a bumper one this week, but we haven't done every question we got given because we didn't do a show last week, and a lot of the questions we got are time sensitive. So we'll try to compile the best that we possibly could. But if you want to submit a question to the mailbag, all you got to do is become one of our awesome pledge hammers on Patreon and leave a comment in the community section at any dollar amount with the headline mailbag. Do not email me, I will just lose it. Like these fine folks. Ket, what's up, WrestleTalk? I'm currently watching WWE in 2012. Ryback was such a cool guy to me. He had a simple gimmick and people loved him. Up until that Hell in a Cell match. Do you think Ryback's WWE career should have been better than it was?
100%. I still really like Ryback. I think he's got a very interesting mind for the business.
He invented everything.
He says all the stuff that CM Punk says, but people make fun of him for it.
Yeah.
Like he's pushing for unionization and for wrestlers to get better cuts off the network. But unfortunately, people see him as a joke because he's the guy that legally changed his name. And yeah, honestly, that unbeaten Ryback run going into
It wasn't Hell in a Cell.
SummerSlam.
No, well, we had
It was like an August-September thing. But yeah, it was Punk versus Ryback. They couldn't beat Punk because they were locked into this Rock storyline.
I think it was around
October
time.
Follow through into January. And yeah, Brad Maddox was the special guest referee who caused
he was just a
Ryback
ref
to lose.
He was just
a ref. Yeah. So
it
yes, it should have been.
And Ryback was actually so charismatic at that point. He got over despite people chanting Goldberg at him. Like people were ready to crap all over that gimmick, being like, well, you're just another Goldberg. But he actually got past that. He got through that really, really well.
He was even funny as his second gimmick where he was like, you stupid,
Yeah.
when he was this mindless bully.
Marcel Dura, hey guys, how do you like them apples? Marcel Dura here. It's a great time to be a wrestling fan. Not only do we have AEW Revolution, Super Showdown, WXW 16 Karat Gold, and WrestleMania, it's a great season. I'm also happy that there are many badass wrestlers out there, and a legit badass is my favorite kind of wrestler. That being said, time to play a game.
Ooh.
4 wrestlers are after you, assassin style. But happily, you've got 4 bodyguards. Who of the following would you want as your bodyguards and who as the hitmen? So your choices are to be your bodyguards: Timothy Thatcher, Keith Lee, Brock Lesnar, Dominik Dijakovic, Killer Kross, Tomohiro Ishii, Minoru Suzuki, and Josh Barnett.
Thatcher, Lee, Lesnar, Suzuki.
I'm going to go Thatcher, Lesnar, Suzuki, and Ishii.
Good question.
Good question. Alex Kirkman, Walking Dead creator. Here's some Royal Rumble fantasy booking. Rumble down to 2 men and they eliminate each other by whatever shenanigans you can think of. That has been done before, right?
Yeah.
But not before the number 30 entrance. Number 30 comes in and wins the Rumble immediately. Something different and will give some heat, some uber heat. What are your thoughts and who would be the right person to give that win if you had to choose someone? My thoughts would be Messiah Rollins or Miz.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have Miz winning a Rumble.
Hey man, he's headline WrestleMania. He actually was one of the few people to successfully defend his WWE Championship at WrestleMania.
I do like the idea. It hasn't been done before. And that's the sort of thing that you can get away with for the Rumble match that goes on first.
Yeah.
Because I do think you lose out on that dramatic end sequence. Because it's not like you're just missing out the final 2. You're missing out the final 6 or 7.
Yeah, completely.
So I do like it, but it wouldn't be the finish I'd choose for the Rumble that closed the show.
It's something you can definitely do now. Yeah, as you say, now you've got 2 Rumbles, and it really would separate them out. Dylan Tyrrell Reeve, hey guys, assuming you're reading this on the 28th of February, it's actually my 22nd birthday.
Happy birthday!
Happy belated birthday. I'm currently reading Jericho's autobiography, No is a 4-letter word, having recently finished his Best in the World at What I Have No Idea. The latter being my favorite wrestling book I've ever read. What are some good wrestling books you guys would recommend? I'm planning on starting I'm Sorry I Love You by Jim Smallman once I finish Jericho's.
All of Jericho's books fantastic. Of course, Mick Foley's as well, Have a Nice Day.
Oh, it's just so good.
What's the other one? Foley is good.
Yeah.
Is Have a Nice Day the first one?
Have a Nice Day was the first one,
collection.
yeah. And then Foley is Good was the follow-up to it. But Have a Nice Day is a mind, because that was like the first of its kind, like to show you like really a backstage view. And it's an absolutely remarkable read.
Death of WCW
That's
by
the book
Brian Alvarez.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan's book's very good as well. A really, really good book, that.
If you're interested in old school World of Sport British wrestling, there's a book called The Wrestling by Simon something, which is really, really interesting read. He sort of goes back and looks at that era, tries to interview people.
And I've not read it yet, but I've heard great things about so following on from that Death of WCW, was that other Nitro book that came out that had like access to all of those scripts, like the Nitro script. They got a hold of all of them, which categorically proved that Bischoff was lying when he said, no, they weren't supposed to be WWF invaders.
Yeah.
We never positioned them like that. It literally says it in the script. John Carey, after about managing to get through Super Showdown without punching something, I began to wonder how WWE can make these booking choices given there's plenty of wrestling to go around. Do they not care that AEW and New Japan are relevant now? Or is it they already have a large loyal fan base? Or perhaps they are still raking in the money and just don't care. I genuinely struggle to see how we can continue to force into the mid to long term if they don't build stars. Cheers, John. Also, met you guys at Royal Quest, and it really got me through a tough spot. You guys were lovely coming to the show on the 16th.
Thank you very much. That's very nice. I think all of those are correct, but you're also missing that Vince McMahon doesn't watch anything outside the WWE bubble.
Including NXT.
So it's probably that he's not aware. He doesn't care, and he's not aware.
Yeah. I think he's aware that they exist, but not what product they put on. Big Mace, I have a question, but first, Ollie, seeing your face when Luke read that I've only been watching wrestling since 2016 put a bigger smile on my face than Keith Lee versus Dominik Dijakovic at TakeOver. But anyways, question time. While watching Dynamite this past week, my mom and younger brother came over and were both asking about Omega and the rest of the Elite. Since I mentioned in passing that Omega, Page, and the Buck storyline is one of the best in wrestling right now, I explained in a very short form about Kenny's wars with Okada and New Japan, and a thought popped into my head. If New Japan, Ring of Honor, and AEW were to host a supercard at some point, I thought Omega versus Okada 5 were to headline, it could possibly sell out a football stadium here in the US. My question is, do you think that would that could be possible, and what other matches would you book? I'd book a mega ladder match with Ospreay Phoenix, Pac Darby, Hiromu Takahashi, Flip Gordon, and Robbie Eagles.
That's insane.
Yeah, that is an insane match.
We won't book the whole card. That's too much of a big question to get into now. But no. Is unfortunately the short answer. Those football stadiums are large.
Oh, they're big.
You're talking, 60,000 plus?
Yeah.
And that's what WrestleMania does.
Yeah.
So not for a long, long time. New Japan has a very niche audience in America.
So does AEW.
And it's the same audience, most likely.
Yeah.
So you're just appealing to the same amount of people. So unfortunately, no, not anytime soon.
20,000, I think. You could probably sell out.
Yeah.
You could sell out a big arena off the back of it, but not a football stadium. But you're right, if they do that card, that would definitely be the match you want as the headline. Lorenzo Hayes, in your opinion, who is the greatest heel in WWE history? In the kayfabe world, it has to be Randy Orton. This man kicked John Cena's dad in the head, said that Eddie Guerrero went to hell, spat in Mick Foley's face, kissed Stephanie McMahon in front of Triple H, lit The Undertaker's casket on fire, threatened to sue WWE after they wanted to fire him for kicking Vince in the head, cashed in on Daniel Bryan, peak yes movement, and now what he's done to Edge.
I guess when you list it all like that in kayfabe dirty deeds, he is like the most demented wrestling character they have. Wow. It's just, there's so many long parts of boredom in between those high points.
Yeah.
That I don't think of
that's
it.
6 big things there across 20 years.
Yeah. What do you think? Best heel?
Best heel in the company. I mean,
I'd say Triple H.
I was going to say Triple H in that 99 to 2000 period.
Oh, yeah.
He was a proper knob, and I hated him being on TV. But it was the right kind of hate. I hated him because I wanted to see The Rock be on top, and he never was. It was always Triple H. So yeah, I think Triple H has got to be up there. You can always go back to the 80s as well. There's a whole bunch of characters you could always say are the best heels to ever lace up a pair of boots. Dan here, the guy that probably ruined WWE belts for you.
Oh, with the Velcro straps. Yeah.
Recently, I've been going back and watching a lot of WCW pay-per-views. During this, I ran across when Hogan made his return to the red and yellow, and it got me thinking. Most of my time growing up watching Hogan was a heel, and that's pretty much how I remember him. Now, granted, I was a fan during the WWE run when he was mostly a face, but Hollywood Hogan was my Hogan. It's to the point where every time I hear Voodoo Child, it takes me back to him playing the big gold along with the song. I say this to ask you if there's a wrestler that is seen by the mainstream as one way, heel or face, but you see them as something else due to personal bias. Thanks for listening. I appreciate all you guys do. I literally listen to you every day in some form or another. Keep up the great work. John Cena.
Yeah.
Because John Cena in this mainstream world is seen as like, oh, what a lovely lad, what a golden boy. He can do no wrong. And I'm like, you weren't there, man.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
see it. You didn't see him squash the Nexus unnecessarily.
Kenny Dykstra was going to get married to Mickey James.
Yeah, he nearly stopped Crime Time. Yeah, so that it's John Cena for me.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's the right answer, I guess. I've always got a thing about Kevin Steen. I know what he can be. He is stone cold, but it's not this. It's not what he's doing at the moment.
Simon Gange, with it being winter, I'm curious about how cold it gets for you guys. Normal winter temperatures here in Winnipeg are usually around minus 20 degrees, but can often get much colder. This past week has been warming up, but not too long ago we were feeling minus 40 winds. One year we even had international news for being colder than Mars. It was a very situational temperature, not the coldest parts of Mars. Anyway, I'm a bit too rambly. Bundle up for the cold. Now we have a very different metric here, because I'm assuming that's Fahrenheit,
Oh, yeah,
whereas we've
good
got
point.
Celsius. To see. So you see what that is. That is...
Like colder than the coldest parts of Mars, not the overall average baseline temperature.
We are Celsius, right?
Yes.
So according to that, like minus 20 Fahrenheit is minus 28 Celsius. Is that right?
Must be. So nope, I'm not coming. Yeah, because Fahrenheit 0 is higher.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it is not. We moan about 2 degrees.
Yeah. So like it's like 2 degrees.
2 degrees
it
Celsius.
might sometimes go below like 0 degrees Celsius, but very rarely. But bearing in mind as well, like this country will have a panic if there's a tiny bit of snow. Like if it is snowing, then the whole country goes into a bit of shutdown. Whereas you look at places like Canada where they have like 10 feet of snow, and it's like, yeah, no, everything's fine.
It's Thursday.
Irakli, how many viewers would NXT and AEW get if they aired on different days? Now, someone in the comments of this replied about 500,000 more, which I do not think it would be that high.
Well, the DVR numbers are meant to be very high for both shows because there's a relatively large
crossover. You're watching one and
crossover.
recording the other.
But yeah, maybe not that high, maybe 200,000.
I was going to say 200,000.
But that's very significant. That's over 10%.
That puts them over the million.
Yeah.
You know, and then some. Michael Plowman, hello all. Hope you're having a lovely time with the boys. Time to stir that WWE AEW pot. Oh no.
As if we haven't enough already this episode.
We've had one very angry email this week about that. Who do you think will be the biggest WWE star to leave the company for AEW in the next year, specifically from after this WrestleMania until the next one, so Matt Hardy isn't eligible?
Oh, biggest... Rusev, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's Rusev. Yeah. And the Revival, I think they're gone. 100%. Tyson, my name's Tyson from Australia.
Swaft under.
This is my first time doing a mailbag. I wanted to write to say you guys have been great lately.
Oh, thank you.
I enjoyed the podcast and I've been listening for the last 4 years while at work or pumping iron, and lately I've had a blast with the predictions and currently at 20 points on the leaderboard. Every morning I watch the reviews. Unfortunately, I think after WrestleMania, it's finally time to say goodbye to the WWE side of things. The Saudi show was just awful. It showed me how much money-hungry WWE is and how little they think of its fans. Since watching AEW, I've noticed building storylines and putting on great matches is what wrestling should be, not squashing 2 fan favorites with no build. I'm a wrestling fan, not a controversial fan. Cancelled my WWE Network membership and replaced it with Progress on Demand. I've never watched Progress, but I've heard so many good things about it. P.S. Here's 25 for all the 25 because he's 25 back here. For all the laughs over the years. Good, kind regards, Tyson.
Well, that's, I don't blame you, Tyson. And Progress is a fantastic, brilliant promotion. And in the early ones, you can see this guy in the crowd for them.
Because Ollie liked it before it was cool.
And I don't, if you're saying after WrestleMania I'm done, I don't think you're done.
Nope, you're still here, mate. We'll see you in a few months.
Yeah.
Because we're never leaving. That's the thing with being a wrestling fan, is once it's got you, it's kind of hard to escape.
Either you stop after Saudi because you're just so annoyed, or you're
a
if you're saying, I'll give up in a couple of months. I don't think so.
Yeah. John T. Evans, with the now thorough burial of the Fiend, how would you go about reversing some of the damage? My thought is to have him absolutely brutalize Cena at WrestleMania, not likely I know, then disappear for months and reappear for no real reason to destroy random superstars and disappear again, what they should have done from the beginning. I still think Cena's winning at WrestleMania for the record.
Oh, God. I think, squash him, squash Cena immediately, in a minute, really, really angrily, and then you can just make it 15 minutes of entrances and 1 minute of match. but you don't have him disappear because that's so much momentum right there.
Yeah.
You want him on the Raw after Mania, and then you immediately put him up against someone else. Have him squash The Undertaker. Have him squash actually do the storyline you were meant to do.
But where do you go from there? Do you just put the title back onto him and you start doing those matches again where no one can pin him, and we're just back to where we started? When we find ourselves in sort of like the Fiend needs... The character doesn't need a revamp, but his match style needed a revamp. Maybe Goldberg beating him was for the best because we can go back and we can reassess how his matches work. And I hate to say it, but it's kind of true though because his matches, no one liked the matches. Jonathan Hedman, if NXT were to do an anniversary show with matchups being all former and current NXT stars at Full Sail, what matches would you have?
Ooh, yeah. So like current and past generations.
So like they're going back to their prime.
Steen Ciampa. I mean Owens Ciampa.
Yeah. Oh,
Sami Zayn, Johnny Gargano.
Yeah. Oh, yes, absolutely. I was trying to think who I'd have against Keith Lee. I'd like to have Ricochet Keith Lee. Real big little man.
Yeah. Not Lars Sullivan Keith Lee.
Well, I mean, he could do. He is
Samoa Joe Keith Lee.
Oh, hello. Now you're talking. Beef. James J. Dillon. I think one of the things hurting The Fiend is his finisher. After reading how stupid Foley thought the move was, obviously this is the mandible claw, I just can't take it seriously. It could be a great move to set up a finisher though. Wyatt drives his opponent to the ground, choking them, and after a minute or so steps back to ready a better finisher on the opponent as they slowly get to their feet, gasping for air.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some really in-depth law reason why it is the mandible claw, but I totally agree. I like it, should be a signature. But the Sister Abigail is a fantastic move. I really like the visual and the way you can cradle someone, kiss them on the head. Works perfectly for the character. But I also like the death, where you just snap someone's neck.
Snap the neck and send them back to NXT.
Yeah, that should be the finisher.
The Zornese, can we have a petition for Ricochet after losing to Brock in Saudi Arabia, then fights for the 24/7 title and loses? This has to be torture. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the report is it's done for a reason. Dwayne Cooley, I was sitting back thinking about AEW, then I started to wonder, what if AEW was formed as early as 8 years ago? When do you think of the influx of stars that started in 2016, or even the stars who left returned to the company between 2012 and 2015, would have had another option besides WWE to go? Because in 2012 would have been risky, but at least 2014 they would have been established enough to get big names to join. When you think of the names that left and joined WWE in the span of those 8 years, Brock Lesnar, AJ Styles, Keith Lee, Matt Riddle, Undisputed Era, Owens, Zayn, Joe, among others, do you think all of these guys who would have joined AEW signed with WWE, or do you think only one of these guys would have joined, so on and so forth?
Yeah, I think that's a very, very interesting question. I've never thought about that potential alternate history. But yeah, the top guys in WWE right now seem like NXT guys, but actually they're Ring of Honor guys.
Yeah.
So if that whole Ring of Honor class goes to AEW,
it's a different world.
Which seems like a more natural sidestep.
But there are some people who did see WWE as the end goal. Like Owens has always said that was what he always saw, was getting to WWE was his
very
end
good
goal.
Friends with the Bucks though.
Well, yeah, I suppose you're right. Yeah, he was featured in being the elite after he signed. And now I wonder for AJ as well. Like if AJ was like, I want to have a WrestleMania under my belt. I've done everything else.
Yeah.
I'd like to have a WrestleMania under my belt.
But this is 2012, he's still at TNA. He's just about to leave for New Japan.
Yeah, you're right. What a different world. Nicholas Walton, on my 10th watch of No Rolls Barred, quick question. Do you think in future seasons we could get a CGW invasion of CBW? If not, I understand, but it would be pretty great.
A lot of love for crap gimmicks and No Rolls Barred.
You and Adam addressed this in the podcast version of No Rolls Barred, which will be available soon.
Yeah, thanks to our No Rolls Barred Patreons for making that happen. Got over 50. So every 200 Patreons, like sort of goals, we want to do a one-shot episode. So maybe, we just do a one-shot of the crap gimmick universe.
Yeah. Or an invasion angle, we do like a super card.
But yeah, so go over, become a Pledgehammer. Well, it's different there, isn't it? And a Patreon on No Rolls Barred to help us to that goal. And at certain tiers, you can actually suggest characters.
Yeah.
So just suggest crap gimmicks.
All right, couple more here. This one comes in from Callum, who said, hey, WrestleTalk. I'd like to start off by thanking Luke for helping me with my Patreon. As you probably want to know, they haven't got back to me, but hopefully they will by the next Ramble Club. He's having some issues where he's a $10 backer, but he's not getting the After Dark episodes. Weird. So I don't know there, but it's nothing we can't fix it at our end, unfortunately. On to my question. question. In October, I turn 18. I would like to know, what alcohol should I try out? Beer, to be exact. We'll try every single one you tell me. I'm also from the UK, so should help your choices. And dance chopper. Hashtag Sport WrestleTalk.
Dance chopper. So, yeah, try them all, I guess, because...
You need to find your taste.
Yeah, so could kind of start off with the extremes. Try a Guinness and an IPA.
Yeah, I think, though, at 18, you're more likely going to be into... like your lagers. So like IPA might be a bit almost on the fruity side because it's that refined palate sense that you get as you become a little bit older.
Same with Guinness as well.
Same with Guinness as well, yeah. Like I certainly didn't want to like Guinness when I was 18, but when I was 18, I very much liked Kronenberg. I mean, I liked Foster's. Now I can't even drink this stuff because it's horrible.
I always really liked Hoegaarden when I was young.
Oh, yeah.
A sort of white Belgian beer.
There's a white Belgian beer. I had a heavy night on Hoegaarden with our Chris once. Bloody hell, I haven't been able to touch the stuff since. But yeah, it's just, you need to find what your taste is as opposed to people telling you what you should try. But, just have a go on a lot of things.
Maybe you're a spirits man. Maybe you're a wine man.
You might
try it all.
You might find out that beer's not your thing at all. And yeah, you might find it's gin, which it's certainly become my thing. I bloody love gin. Xandermania. I have a really random question. My big event of the year is Xandermania 2020. It's fast approaching.
Xander makes me laugh in a way nobody else does.
I know.
I've never met someone... It's just so sincere but ironic at the same
time.
Yeah. You make me so happy, Xander.
He's a wonderful, wonderful human being. But it makes me wonder, if you created a wrestling show named after yourself, what would it be and why?
Ooh. I don't know.
Ollie out?
Or Ollie out. Ollie is. Ollie out. What about you?
I don't know. You just find when I try and find something that has like L in the name.
Luke.
Table, Lukes and chairs.
Nice.
There it is. Chuck Turner, good morning. Question, what's the over-under that Brock Lesnar will be the champion, whether it's the WWE World or Universal Champion by next year's WrestleMania? Thank you, have a great day, and dance, chopper, dance.
Dance, chopper.
It is very, very possible that come WrestleMania next year, Brock Lesnar will be some form of a champion.
Yeah.
Yep. Very high. Flev Dorin, hello Luke, Ollie, Adam and everyone else at WrestleTalk. Gotta say, revamping Screen Stalker was a great idea, especially that it got a little bit messy in the last few months. Last few months we didn't post anything.
Yeah, well I guess we kept on trying out different formats to see what worked, and then we thought 2K20, that's the wagon to hitch our ride to.
It was amazing. When we were at VidCon a couple of weeks ago, we went to this presentation as sort of like, how to best utilize your channel, how to best sort of like manage your channel. And he had this graphic up that showed like, you've got, this is your fan base. And you've got a pocket over here that likes TV, a pocket over here that likes movies, a pocket over here that likes anime and games. There is some slight crossover, but it's not appealing to the wider picture. And I suddenly was like, oh, that's why Screen Stalker didn't work.
Yeah.
That's exactly why it didn't work. Anyway, WWE might have learned something from you guys. If something's not working, change your ways, do something different. And also promoting a bona fide star helps bring in viewers, like the fantasy booking video featuring Adam quadrupled your previous most viewed videos. What a novel concept, right? Love the booking video, and I really tried to get into the RPG video, but it's just not my type of entertainment. Sorry guys, I'll still support every video by at least clicking the like button, Dance Chopper, and on the ad.
Thank you, Flev.
My question is the revamp process, you said that the movie talk videos will move to the Cineworld channel. When exactly is that starting? Because I still want to hear you guys talk about that stuff. Thank you, keep up the great work.
That's exactly the plan. Yeah, that's, but Screen Stalker, all the movie side, we were going to move it over to Cineworld anyway.
Yeah, because that's a movie channel, so you're appealing to that movie audience.
So we thought with that, we were doing a lot of gaming, wrestling stuff on Screen Stalker anyway. Adam was coming on. We wanted to do No Rolls Barred, so it just made it all made sense. Like the Tetris bricks all aligned.
Yeah. It's actually very interesting. So I mean, if you've made it this far into the video, then you quite like us and you quite like this brand. But one of the things that this fascinated me. YouTube is not a TV channel. It's Netflix. When you click Parks and Recreation on Netflix, you just want to watch Parks and Recreation episodes. You don't then want an episode of Tiny House Nation in between that. That's how I was like, God damn, of course. We're idiots for not seeing that sooner.
But when is it starting? Soon.
Yeah, it's soon. We have got. You've noticed the Cineworld chairs are in the office, so plans are afoot. We're just getting some final bits and pieces into place. And lastly, Fardeen, it says, I know you guys are supposed to be life I know these are supposed to be life or wrestling questions, but I have an iPhone 11. I'm listening to your guys' podcast every month on main events. But the thing is, when I want to download ones from a long time ago, I have to scroll down previous polls, glitch out, and blocks me from downloading them. Is there a way you can change the tag for the podcast so the polls don't break them? I don't know if anyone else has this problem. So I'm guessing this is a Patreon thing. Yeah, there are tags, but I guess what he's saying is that all of the, my suggestion would be just get the RSS feeds. You get an RSS feed when you join WrestleTalk as a Patreon, put that in to your iPhone 11, into the Apple podcast app, and that will then just show the podcast themselves as opposed to the posts. That'd be my suggestion.
Yeah, perfect. Well, let's quickly do this unboxing right here. WrestleCrate, go over to wrestlecrate.co.uk and use the discount code. Is it WTTV or is it WrestleTalk now?
Do you need some keys?
Yes.
I'll go get my keys.
I've got my keys.
You got your keys?
In my pocket somewhere.
So I'm doing an unboxing. I think that's at least 3 YouTubes.
3 YouTube points.
Yep. There we go. Got our keys now. Yeah, head on over to WrestleCrate and use the code. It's in the video description down below.
And if you do, you get special goodies.
T-shirts.
Oh, first up we have a T-shirt.
Show it to me. Show me the T-shirt. Beautiful, and it's a white.
It's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
I like this.
It's a white T-shirt.
I might claim this T-shirt.
Have you seen it before?
Well, no, we wore over these in the office. What is it?
That's it. Let me get the.
Expect the unexpected, and it's just a load of cool, lucky. Oh, it's Lucky Kid's T-shirt.
There you go.
The WWE. NXT UK wrestler.
Lucky Kid exclusive T-shirt. Sheldon Freuder member Lucky Kid makes his Wrestle return. I think that's meant to be WrestleCrate return debut with his exclusive T-shirt. German Star had an amazing year in 2019 with matches in Ring of Honor, WXW, PWE, and more.
Finn Balor signed photo.
Yeah, this piece
drawing.
of artwork was designed exclusively for WrestleCrate, so you can get this anywhere else. You can't get this anywhere else in the world. Hand signed by the inaugural Universal Champion Finn Balor.
1 month free of AEW on demand.
Enjoy a full month of it.
We've got a divot here.
A divot.
Wrestle Queendom from Pro Wrestling Eve.
Hey!
Oh, that's cool.
It's the feminist punk rock wrestling promotion based in East London. Wrestle Queendom 2 features matches from Sue Young, Martina, Jordan Grace, Viper, Kaylee Ray, and more.
Great card. Oh, wicked. We'll watch that.
Oh, and it's Sue Young versus Session Moth, or Session Goth, rather.
Oh, that's cool. It's a Edge Returns sort of exclusive photo.
Oh, that's cool.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Like
Edge Return commemorative photo. On this day, you can commemorate.
Got a little badge, Monday Night Wars.
I love the pins. The pins, actually, my bag is just over there. I've got pretty much all the pins that we've had from these crates on my bag.
We've got a poster here.
Ooh,
it's a special poster roller thing.
Oh,
it's my boy Penta!
It's a Penta poster. Beyond Gorilla took this beautiful shot of Pentagon Jr. during one of the AEW stars' recent trips to the UK. This limited poster is exclusive to WrestleCrate.
Oh, nice.
I can go on the set as well, along with our boy Finn.
Oh, God.
Breaking stuff.
We've also got
Calling Spots magazine, number 34.
What a beautiful commemorative
with Liger on the front.
For Jushin Thunder Liger's retirement.
Yeah, popular wrestling magazine, fanzine featuring long-form pieces on Jushin Thunder Liger, NXT, Shoot Wrestling, Figure Wrestling Collection, and more.
We've got an OJMO sticker.
Oh, love it. Have a boy.
And I don't actually know who this is. King 730.
It's Eddie Kingston. You may know Eddie Kingston from his recent NWA Power shows, but his 18-year career has seen him wrestle for ROH, Progress, Impact, CZW, Shikara, and more.
Well, get your WrestleCrate, take out a subscription, go over to wrestlecrate.co.uk and use the code that's in the video description below. I've been Ollie Davis.
Moxley's in the next one.
Oh, and yeah, Moxley's in the next one. Click the videos that have just appeared on the desk to catch up with the latest awesome WrestleTalk things. Become a pledge hammer right here. Participate against us in wrestling predictions with Elimination Chamber this weekend. And also, you can submit questions to this mailbag section. I've been Ollie Davis, this has been Luke Owen, and that was wrestling.